Here with more details coming out of the IRS whistleblowers in the Hunter Biden case is our national correspondent, Logan Raddick.
Well, Christina, IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, who spent 14 years with the agency, says that the Justice Department was interfering with their investigation into Hunter Biden and tax fraud allegations. Now, Gary Shapley alleges that as criminal investigators from the IRS prepared an affidavit for a search warrant on a storage unit Hunter Biden used for his business records, Assistant Delaware U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf objected. Shapley then said, quote, United States Attorney Weiss agreed that if the storage unit was accessed for 30 days, we could execute a search warrant on it. No sooner had we gotten off the call than we heard Assistant U.S. Attorney Wolf had simply reached out to Hunter Biden's defense counsel and told him about the storage unit, once again ruining our chance to get to evidence before being destroyed, manipulated, or concealed. Now, little is known about Assistant U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf. She did graduate from Columbia Law School. She worked at Ballard Spahr, a law firm where employees give donations almost exclusively to Democrats. And in 2020, she herself donated $50 to Act Blue, which is an online fundraising platform for Democrats. And the whistleblower Shapley says he, quote, had obvious questions like who was H, who the big guy was, and why this percentage was being held separately with the association hidden. But Assistant U.S. Attorney Wolf interjected and said she did not want to ask about the big guy and stated she did not want to ask questions about, quote, dad. Attorney General Merrick Garland told Republicans that claims that the DOJ may have interfered with the 5-year probe are false and says that U.S. Attorney David Weiss decided on his own accord to reach a plea deal with Hunter Biden.
I'd say he was given complete authority to make all decisions on his own. I don't know how it would be possible for anybody to block him from bringing a prosecution, given that he has this authority.
And Shapley also says that Attorney David Weiss, the attorney in Delaware, was denied a request to be special counsel, but Attorney General Merrick Garland insists that never happened.
The only person with authority to make somebody a special counsel or refuse to make somebody a special counsel is the Attorney General. Mr. Weiss never made that request to me.
But Shapley's attorneys responded to that statement from Attorney General Garland, and they say that is not the case, writing in part, quote, in an October 7th, 2022 meeting at the Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office, U.S. Attorney David Weiss told 6 witnesses he did not have authority to charge in other districts and had thus requested special counsel status. And the lawyers also named the names of the 6 witnesses from the FBI and the IRS who they say are able to corroborate what Weiss allegedly said. Now, Speaker Kevin McCarthy here on Capitol Hill says if the whistleblower is correct in saying that Attorney General Merrick Garland is lying about the fact that a special counsel request was denied, then the House would begin impeachment proceedings into the Attorney General. Christina and Bob, back to you.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you for that. Now here to discuss the latest coming out of the Hunter Biden case, former U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. and Newsmax contributor Joe diGenova, and former Chief Counsel for the Senate Intelligence Committee and Newsmax contributor Victoria Toensing. Joe, has any of this news coming out of the investigation into Hunter surprised you?
No, not at all. In fact, given the length of time that this case was investigated, 5 years, an unprecedented amount of time for such a simple case as this, it's pretty clear that something is rotten in Delaware, whether it's the Assistant U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf or it's David Weiss. The problem is we're not getting clear answers. Weiss should have fired Leslie Wolf immediately if she tipped off the defense attorneys about the possible search warrant of the storage shed. It's inconceivable to me that an assistant United States attorney would call defense attorneys and give them that information. That's an obstruction of justice.
Yeah, which is called a crime. Let me make something very clear. To call David Weiss a Trump appointee is really politically misleading. He could not have gotten that appointment without the blessing of the 2 Democratic senators from Delaware, Chris Coon and Tom Carper. So in order to pass that test, I am sure he was not out there as a Trump supporter. And maybe that's the explanation we need. Merrick Garland didn't have to pick up the phone and call him. And I can tell you, as an old line prosecutor who did, I can't tell you how many searches, there is no reason in the world, and this is attributed to David Weiss, There is no reason in the world why he should have said wait 30 days before you search a storage facility.
Yeah, let me ask you about this, your take on that kind of shakedown WhatsApp message that we're so familiar with now.
Well, Bob, that's really fascinating. The key to that, we now know, of course, that it is a legitimate WhatsApp message. In fact, Hunter Biden's counsel has confirmed that it's his. Here's the thing. Look at the date on that WhatsApp message. That was after Joe Biden was no longer vice president. And what did that mean? That meant that Hunter Biden's salary at Burisma had been cut more than in half, and they were not getting paid the money that they thought they were going to get from the time that Biden was vice president. They were having arguments with people. So that's what this WhatsApp message is about.
You see, Hunter's salary was cut from Burisma after Joe was no longer vice president. And I can tell you, and I'll repeat it 10,000 times, Hunter Biden got $80,000 a month from sitting on the board of Burisma. And in return, his father, the then vice president, had the prosecutor who was investigating Burisma fired. That Victor Shokin was never corrupt. He was fired because he was investigating Burisma.
All right. Final thought here. We've got like 30 seconds. Joe, Victoria, up to you.
Well, I can tell you this. It isn't going to get any better. Whether or not it is sufficient to move the needle with the mainstream media is now irrelevant. The polls show that the American people now sense blood in the water. They sense total corruption with the sitting president of the United States. And it's up to the House of Representatives now to finish the job and get all the information out about all the banking transactions.
They need to bring in all the witnesses to these events to find out who is telling the truth.
Okay. Joe, Victoria, thank you so much for being with us.
You bet.
Yep.